All right. Welcome. I'd like to call to order the Selectmen's meeting of Monday, September 23rd, 2024. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public input. There's nobody here from the public? No. So we'll move on to the approval of minutes. Minutes from Tuesday, September 10th, 2024.
I'll make a motion that we approve those minutes.
I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. And appointments. Lake Winnipesaukee Association. Joanne Haight. I assume she's supposed to be showing up.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to the consent calendar. See if we can knock off a few things here. In the consent calendar, we have our annual MS1 form, which shows a value of the town of Tufton Borough property at $1,891,443,240 net. And we also have a purchase and sale agreement for the Carlton property up at the transfer station. This piece of property was put on a warrant article and approved, and the purchase of the property is for $60,000, and we budgeted in the warrant article $65,350, and that extra $5,350 is, I'm assuming, is going towards appraisals and other surveying that needed to be done. And I also am under the impression that we're going to be receiving a grant in the area. Don't hold me to this number, but I think it's somewhere around $45,000 for this property. But nevertheless, we still need to sign the purchase and sale agreement. So I would entertain a motion to sign the MS1 and the purchase and sale agreement of the Carlton property.
I'll move on those two items.
I will second. Any further discussion? All right, seeing that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And I should note that Selectman Dave DeFinius will not be joining us tonight.
So is he can come in later and sign these?
Yes.
Because we really should have 3 signatures
Mm-hmm.
on both of those.
Action items. We've been requested to set the cost of living percentage for the 2025 wage scale and approve the Willand Road Betterment Supplemental Warrant, which for those that don't know, the Willand Road Supplemental Warrant is for upgrades that the town did to that road.
I came in on maybe it was Friday, but I worked with Jackie on that, betterment assessment, so I'll make a motion that we sign that.
Okay, I'll second. Any further discussion? Do you want to just elaborate for the general public on what this is for?
Well, we need to collect, it's a 10-year return on the amount of money that town invested in upgrading that road, which amounts to $5,500 a year that we need to tax the owners of property along the road. So, the methodology that we used was to add up the total value of the properties along the road divided by the number of people and the $5,500 and come up with a factor. And the factor I think was 3.84.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
I don't know how many years are left on that, but probably not that many.
This is the second or third.
I believe it ends in 2030.
2030?
Correct.
We did it in 2020. Do I need to sign that?
I believe you had already signed it.
Did I? I'm sorry, Bob. I knew I already signed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt like it should have been on the consent calendar or in the meeting.
And you had some information here for me for COLA.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. So it appears that the average cost of living in the Northeast region, which covers us clearly, is 3.3%. And I would entertain a motion for setting the cost of living adjustment for the 2025 pay scale.
Okay, that's based on the Mid-Atlantic Information and Northeast New England Division, I'm sorry. And I'll make a motion that we set the COLA rate at 3.3%.
I will second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
I do want to bring to your attention that the code enforcement officer has hit the top of his scale, so when you come to review his budget, you may want to do an employee review and consider bumping him up.
Good to know. Okay. We have multiple correspondences. Let's see. Sanssouci 2024 assessment updates. Notice of decision from the Tuftonboro ZBA. Let's see. This is on the Dombrowski property in 6 Chetmonk Lane. They've been granted a variance from section 4.2 of the zoning ordinance. Joint Loss Management Committee meeting minutes. Coalition of Communities 2.0 legal services update. Resignation from one of our members of the Parks and Recreation Committee. Tuftonboro Central Park project status. Northeast Resource Recovery Association. 2024 year-to-date through August 2024. Let's see.
There was one additional correspondence that just came in this afternoon. The New Hampshire DOT is looking to put a sign at 2 crossings of the Melvin River, Sodom Road and County Road. And it will be the DOT would replace any existing signs and do all of the work. However, future work would be the responsibility of the town, and they want weight limit.
Oh, okay.
So are they changed, is it through the whole road?
No, it's just for, where it crosses the Melbourne River, it would say bridge crossing weight limit, or,
So they're changing the classification of that bridge?
I don't know if they're changing it, but they're signing it and making sure that it's signed correctly.
Changing the emergency vehicle weight limit. New Hampshire DOT is developing a state-administered project to place emergency vehicle weight limit signs on 374 bridges statewide. The need for this project is to fulfill bridge load rating and posting requirements for emergency vehicles mandated by the Fixing America's Surface Transportation Act, FAST Act. New Hampshire DOT has a deadline with the Federal Highway Administration to fabricate and install these signs no later than September 12th, 2025. Where required, these emergency vehicle weight limit signs are independent of any legal load posting signs. The FAST Act provided the following criteria. I'm not going to get into the criteria. Many of these bridges are owned by municipalities. For such bridges, New Hampshire DOT is requesting permission to install these new signs or replace and combine any existing legal weight limit signs on new posts.
So does has the fire chief gotten a copy of that?
No, I thought of that when he was reading it,
Yeah, cause,
We
I mean,
did.
that sort of changes his approach to firefighting.
Yeah, I think we should let the fire chief
alright, so I'll send it to
have a look at this. They don't need an answer from us this week.
No.
Okay.
No, or this year.
Well, we wanna be early on the list.
Why?
Uh,
Are they gonna give us money to fix the bridge?
Hopefully,
No, we're not even on the bridge list,
isn't, the culvert on Sodom Road?
right?
Yeah.
No. The box culvert, which is the bridge they're talking about,
Okay,
is not on the bridge list.
I'll have to drive slower so I can observe it.
Well, it's got a, whatever those classifications are, but
Alright, I'll check it
I
out.
know we're not on the list in Concord, which is where the money comes from.
You want me to read the
I don't know what it is.
Tufton Borough Parks and Rec Central Park project status?
Sure.
Okay. To the Tufton Borough Board of Selectmen from the Tufton Borough Parks and Recreation Committee. The Tufton Borough General Park is accessed from an existing improved driveway off of Route 109A, Middle Road, adjacent to the new fire station. The driveway was upgraded when the cell tower went in. It's currently being used as access to the cell tower and by the public as a recreation area for hiking, volleyball, picnicking, dog walking, etc. The proposed project, at this time, the proposed project was to develop the open grass area from the existing fire station parking lot, extending to the tree lines, cemetery, and stone walls, approximately 1.3 acres, to include but not limited to Phase 1, approximately a quarter-mile accessible walking path, Pump and Skills bike park, fenced-in dog park, and butterfly garden and benches. Phase 2, a community playground, a covered pavilion with enhanced picnic area and facilities, improvement to existing hiking trails. A community picnic and informational meeting was held on date unknown, with many in attendance. There seemed to be general support from the attendees, however, more support for community playground than for bike track. Funds for the construction of this park is to come from donations. Some of the issues discussed at public meeting included A, safety and permit issues with the use of the existing driveway for increased activity. B, safety, students trying to bike from school to the park, Middle Road being dangerous, poor shoulders, poor road, limited sight distance, and discussed private easements crossing private land. C, parking driveway entrance, use of grass areas, need for upgrades, drainage, D, wetland or environmental issues. E, restrictions from the town lease with the cell phone company. F, cost to build and operate. And G, need for a feasibility study and or engineering site plans. We have not had the large donors we were hoping for, nor have we been able to find someone to help champion the project. At this point, we recommend slowing the project down and reassessing the phased plan, project approach, cost, and funding. In order to have detailed discussions with the Board of Selectmen, Planning Board, and Conservation Commission, we should have accurate base plans showing all existing conditions and suitable for developing more detailed site plans and construction cost estimates. We ask the Board of Selectmen to consider making a request for proposals for surveying and engineering services to include Phase 1, topographic and existing condition survey and development of base plans suitable for developing detailed plans. Phase 2, preliminary engineering to assess site, develop drainage and grading plans, and address issues discussed at the public meeting. Prepare preliminary site plans and cost estimates for discussions. Phase 3, based on town input and Board of Selectmen approval, develop phased construction plans and cost. We're not sure what the cost will be for this work, but we think we have enough in the capital reserve account to fund Phase 1. We would also obtain estimates to complete Phase 2 and 3 for future budgeting purposes. That's it.
That's a good time to plug that Parks and Rec are looking for members for their commission. So if anyone's interested in things like a dog park and want to help out with this project, Parks and Rec could use their help.
Mhm.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if you're interested in joining Parks and Rec, they could use your help.
We called in one of the appointments early.
Yeah. Thank you for coming in, Chief.
Anytime.
Police update.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
All right. As you can see, we had a couple call-outs for August. We did not have any training for August at all. For the most part, our numbers are doing okay. They're about the same. I will tell you our accidents are down for the same time last year, which I would like to see. Our arrests are getting up there, but they're still under. Our felonies have increased by 2 from last year, so that's not a good thing. And we're about equal with our incidents and our call for service. I highlighted, when I broke down the felonies for you, I just highlighted, thought maybe it'd be easier just to know where our numbers went up compared to last month. So that's why you have some highlights there. Let's see, school has started, so we're starting to get there for the student drop-off in the morning. I talked to Principal Small about what our thoughts were of us just doing some spot checks of walking through the school and that kind of thing, just randomly. I know that I hear Wolfboro and Ossipee PDs on the radio signing out, just doing a walkthrough. She thought that was a great idea, and so we are gonna start kind of doing that at some points when things are slow and we just want to stop and go in and do a walkthrough and not be disruptive. So I'm in need of new portables. Mid last year, so 2023, we received a memo from Ossipee Mountain Electronics saying that as of January 1st of 24, our portables will no longer be able to be repaired or replaced with the current model that we have now. And I reached out to Ossipee Mountain to kind of start doing some fact finding for budgetary stuff this upcoming year, and noticed that for 4 portables, speaker mics, extra battery, chargers, everything that we're going to need, it comes out to $15,347.40. And I just wanted to kind of,
You don't wanna do that out of this year's budget?
well, that, my thought is that because we are short on officers and therefore I do have a surplus right now, I'm thinking that it would be feasible to just pay it right off out of this year so that we don't have to try to include it into anything next year and increase next year.
Yeah, you've got 13 grand sitting on your new equipment line,
Yes.
and
18 grand in your repairs and maintenance
18
line.
on, yeah, repairs and maintenance, so.
Right. Yep, new equipment was for the officers that are coming on board. We already used a little bit of that for the last officer. But I do understand, yeah, there are a couple things here. Yep,
Or take
Yeah.
it all out of repairs and maintenance, I mean.
yep. Yeah.
Yeah, my suggestion would be to have it this year as opposed to try to squirrel it into next year's budget.
Yeah, if you can do it this year, absolutely.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Thank you for that.
Do we
That's
need to
what I
vote
will
on
do.
that? Chip, do you think we need to vote on that?
No, I think we're just advising.
Okay.
Okay,
Can
thank
run
you.
his own budget.
Thank you. All right, a donation's been received by the Tuftonboro Police Benevolent Association by a very generous donor to purchase a drone. So we were actually in the process today of ordering the drone up, and
How much is the drone?
the drone is 12. Don't quote me on this. 12,300.
12 and change.
12 and change.
We need to have a meeting where we accept that gift,
Okay.
cause it's $12,000 that you're gonna buy for town property. I mean, it's kinda the same thing that we do when the fire people do this and they get a boat.
Right.
You know, it's just a
Yeah.
formality, but
Okay.
I think we need to do that.
Okay.
I think we could easily do that next selectmen's meeting. Have a
Alright, I have to put it in the paper 10 days before,
Yeah.
a public hearing to accept unanticipated funds.
mhm.
So we could do it then or the next time the chief's here, so he doesn't have to come in again.
What's your pleasure, chief?
Whatever works for you folks.
We
Yeah,
meet
just
every
make
2
sure
weeks.
Yeah.
You don't.
So, well, I get it. I get it. It doesn't matter to me. Do you want me to hold off on the order? Or do you want me to order it in, cause it's going through the Benevolent Association as a purchase, it's just the town is accepting it from the Benevolent.
Right, we can accept money or we can accept property, so.
Right, right. Yeah.
no, keep-
The way the fire department did it was that that organization ordered and received it.
Yep.
And then once it was received, then we had the public hearing,
Right.
because that's when it flips
It
ownership.
becomes
Yes, comes ownership.
Tuftonboro property.
Yep,
Right.
absolutely.
So work
Okay.
with me to let me know when it's coming in, and I'll put you on the agenda.
All right, why don't we plan that? I don't know how long it's gonna take. Sergeant LaFave has been doing all the legwork on that. And we'll most likely order it tomorrow. He did receive a way to order it online, so we'll get that going, and I'll let her know and we can schedule it for whenever.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. I've given a conditional offer to a certified police officer that's in the area. Sergeant LaFave is actually working on his background right now. Has approximately almost 4 years on the job, being certified. So I really do think that he's gonna be a fantastic fit to my team. So I'm very, very excited about that. And I think that the background would be probably finished no later than another week or two out. So my anticipation is that I think October's meeting is probably a little tight for us, right? Because I think I'm running budgets with you in October. So some point in time, we'll get a time to come in and you can meet the officer and we can go that route. So I think
We meet twice in October.
twice in October. So yeah,
The end of October.
yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Then our meeting after that is the election day, so that might be a little
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll fit it in and we'll make it work on our end, you know, as to when it's good for you guys.
We meet on the 7th and the 21st.
Okay. Okay. So I think I'm technically.
You're fine.
I'm technically scheduled
You're short
for the
enough.
21st, I
Yeah.
think. So, yep, so, yeah, so we'll play it by ear, see what happens. I don't know if it'll be pushing it to try to get in on the 7th and have the background done, but let's see where we're at. Yeah. So that'll give us 3 that will be able to fine tune the field training program and get him out on his own fairly quickly. So that's going to be a good thing. The part-time officer position, I wanted to touch base and see what your thoughts were on an hourly rate for them, so that I can start formulating the budget for next year. I gave you some ideas as to some of the towns around us and where they're at. So just wanted to kind of open that up for any discussion or what your thoughts
So
were.
where were you gonna put it, chief? In your officer salary line?
Yeah, I would believe it should go in the officer salary line, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
As a general rule, with an uncertified officer, we had set the stage for about, I think it was $30.06 to start uncertified, and then after his year of probation or her year of probation, it would bump up to the $31.28. And I was kind of thinking that we probably should be around that mark, since a certified part-timer would be doing the same job as an
Right,
officer.
you're not saying we're gonna get an uncertified part-time officer,
I will hope that we would get a certified part-timer.
right?
Yes,
'Cause,
yes.
yeah, I mean, we pay the uncertified officers, but they're with one of our full-time
Correct.
officers.
Where does that put him on the pay table? Oh, I'm looking at 2025s. That won't do me any good.
Yeah, I was bouncing off 2024s, and I don't,
Well,
think I
2025 is the chart you need, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have that yet.
Oh, we'll work on it, I got a copy here.
Okay.
Chief, didn't you say that a lot of the towns have a flat rate outside of the pay scales for part-timers?
Yeah, so some of the departments will have just one set rate for a part-timer, whether you're 12 years experienced, whether you're 1 year experienced, that's what you get for part-time. I noticed one department that I noted here, they had a bridge of $5. So what the chief was saying to me was, if an officer came in and had some extra certifications and things that would benefit them, then they were on the higher scale of that window. If they just came in to just be certified and just work the road and handle calls, then they might be a little bit lower on that scale. But I think as a general rule, it's usually just one set fee for whoever comes in. They're just doing an extra job by working for us. Yeah.
What's our, do we have a detail rate? I mean, that's essentially the same thing, isn't it?
Detail rates are higher.
Because there's a car involved.
Because yep, there's a car involved. Yep, and that'll be another surprise for another meeting. But yeah, we bill out $75 an hour. $45 an hour goes to the officer at this point. But that's for details. That's for people that are hiring an officer and a cruiser, that kind of thing.
What's your recommendation on this part-time?
My part-time position, I would say that I think we should set it at that $31.28, which is what I would put a certified officer that's new here.
And where did you come up with that number?
It's actually on the wage scale.
On the scale, or just in general?
In general.
Okay, so the reason why I came up with that number is uncertified, we'd be starting at $30.06, after the year probation is up, we would bump that officer to 3128, and that's the number that I utilized for part-time.
Okay, so
And
looking at the, what was the first number, $30
$0.06.
and 6 cents?
yes,
So 3105 is where, yeah,
and what I would also say is if we have a part-time certified officer, they have a ceiling of 1,300 hours that they can work. If we have a full-time certified officer that works for us, there's no ceiling, and we obviously are not paying benefits either.
right,
So,
but,
yeah.
yeah,
Are you, I mean, you presented this number, I assume you're comfortable with it, but are you comfortable with it?
Yes.
I think I'd like to stay within the payroll table if we can. So if we go to pay grade 16, level 1, that's $31.01. So it's 4 cents short of what you want to be. 31.01.
It's 27 cents short of where he
Yeah.
wants to be.
And
Really?
3128 was what I had for the old, but I'm working off a 24 schedule. So that might be a difference. Are they different by much?
3.3%.
Yeah, 3%. So
Okay.
we'd have to go to grade 2, which is 31.63. I mean, what happens, the reason I'm doing this exercise is, let's say you have a part-timer that comes in as certified,
Hmm?
oh, sitting with a term of full-time, make him a bona fide, Tufton police officer. You don't have to completely renegotiate the pay scales at that point. He's already on a step and grade. That's the only reason I did that.
Okay. What I would say to counter that is that if we have an 8-year veteran that's going to work part-time for us and then he chooses to come full-time, I obviously would want to set him on our pay table accordingly based on his 8 years of service already, which might mean that he might be up a total pay grade or over several steps. But yeah, I mean, I don't have any problem following a step on the table, as to where we
Well,
can
how are we
start
gonna,
out.
okay, let's move forward a
Okay.
year. How are we gonna treat the same officer that worked for you for a total of 4 months over the course of 2025? And now 2026 has shown up. How are we gonna treat his pay then? And what are you gonna use for a factor? Or is he just gonna make the same amount of money in 2026 that he made in 2025?
One of the things that we can consider is we can consider that pay having an addition of COLA of whatever you folks set every year. I mean, I know some departments are doing that where they'll start out at this particular dollar figure and then whatever the COLA is based on, if they are a current part-time employee, then they would bump the COLA into the mix. I know that happens somewhere, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So on pay grade 16, column 1 is 3101,
Right.
column 2 is 3163. 3163 is 35 cents more than what he's asking for.
I mean, having 2 different wage scales, I think it's just lends an element of confusion
Mhm.
going forward.
No, I think it's a good idea to put it on the pay scale. So I'm
I
Without-
would
without
go
making a
level
motion.
2. I mean, I don't think it's gonna bust his budget to have,
I move pay grade 16, column 2, $31.63
for part-time certified.
for part-time
officer.
certified officer.
Okay. now the COLA gets factored in.
That's a motion.
I'll second.
Discuss.
Then the COLA gets factored in as you go forward if you need to. It also gives you benchmark, I mean, we're on that line at that point in time.
Yes.
So if he goes full-time now, all of a sudden maybe he jumps 2 steps. I don't, that's totally up to you to present it to us at that point.
Sure, sure.
All right.
I think that's fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen.
All those in favor? Aye.
And that's all I have for you guys. Do you have anything for me?
No.
Just, hopefully you can get your other officer on, cause we do need more patrols. I got
Yeah.
passed twice on Lynch Hill Road,
Okay.
and I was driving a little in excess of the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Okay.
And it's, I mean, I can't expect you guys to be everywhere all at once, I'm visually impaired enough not to be able to take down license plate numbers as they roar by.
I'm gonna blame it on Jim and the DOT for paving all the roads and making them
Yeah.
faster. Cause I did have somebody at voting say to me that, that Mountain Road was nice now. Yeah, as a, before the potholes and the broken pavement kinda either you beat up your car or
Oh, you slowed down.
you slowed down. Now we don't have that built into the equation.
Well,
so
another
I
year,
totally
another
get it.
year. Yeah.
Another year. Yeah,
We'll
okay.
We'll be back where we started.
Yeah, I
Duly
mean,
noted.
and there's a blind hill where I gotta pass, so, I mean, somebody's gonna get hurt.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of which, well, I got you two guys here. Did you take a look at that driveway?
I did. So I parked in the driveway and I walked up the road to where I think that the crest of the hill becomes the blind spot.
Yeah?
And where you could start to see, I measured down. I measured 360 feet.
Sightline?
Sightline. Rule of thumb is 100 feet for every 10 miles per hour speed limit. So that's 35-mile-an-hour zone. Kind of just fits in there. But, however, most people, I noticed while I was there, observed that most people were probably going 40 or a little bit over maybe. I don't know, I kind of recommend maybe doing the blind driveway sign just to put it at ease, and it's probably justified in certain instances.
You don't wanna do what I suggested we do up on the top of Durgan Hill, which is blow your horn when you get to the cross.
Yeah, the honk rock like on Federal Corners.
On both sides.
Chief, you don't have any issues with putting up a blind driveway sign, do you?
You need to excuse me because I have no idea where we are talking about.
Okay, so
So-
it's number 6 Union Wharf Road.
Okay.
Which, if you go down towards the end by Pier 19,
Yeah,
it would be the second house on your left going up the road.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
So
The
it
two
is
brown
close
ones
to
there.
It's
Yeah,
close to that hill. And there are some trees that kind of limit this, sight line a little bit. So
right,
it's probably not a bad idea to have the sign.
right. Yeah, I don't see any reason why. I think any caution signs out there are always a good idea, probably. Yeah.
So you recommend it?
I recommend it.
I'll make a motion that we instruct the road agent to put up
I'll second.
the sign.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay.
Speaking of signs, how's the crosswalk situation coming? Is there anything happening there?
I have not made any progress on that part.
Cause I did read somewhere in the Granite State that Wolfboro has a striping machine.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm sure they do,
crosswalks.
because they have several crosswalks that they do.
That's not something we can borrow.
Well, I think there's a little more to it than that. I don't think that's something that you go out and do a great job your first time. So,
We'll borrow it with an operator.
maybe, I don't know how that would work. I guess it's something we could look into, and I could ask for.
Yeah, ask them how hard it is. Maybe Colin's got one to rent, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to get that thing out get that project off our plate if we could.
Well, he's up next. We all set, Chief?
I am okay, yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate your time.
You can get one of these, right?
I'll get one.
Okay, one.
You can have
Thank
one.
you.
Road agent. Come on up. Your paving's looking good.
So I did talk to them and they are expecting to be doing the top coat tomorrow, start the top coat tomorrow on Tufton Borough Neck. Top coat has actually already been done as far as Shirley Way and Woodland
Thank you.
and Chandler. Okay, so first one, I guess we've already discussed.
Yeah, I wanted to do that while the chief was here in case he had any
And that
input.
made sense, so we got that out of the way. So I did meet with Carroll Materials, we measured the roads, and I'm expecting the price to come this week. So we should have it, they're gonna email it to us, so
Mhm.
you'll get it as soon as it's here. I estimated the price for excavating out the rocks on Pine Mill and then filling in with gravel, compacting, and then cold patching to be done. And we're looking at 24,500. So I think that's gonna be in addition to the budget,
In addition to,
to the paving budget, cause we burned up
For next year or this year?
for this year. Now, we talked about doing that and you thought you guys mentioned a few times,
Yeah,
How do you get it done?
because we thought you were gonna have some
Yeah.
money
Well,
remaining.
originally, I thought, at least I heard, that there was some extra money out there that was possibly gonna be used.
Yeah, your money.
Okay.
Because we thought that you were gonna have some money left over out of the paving budget because we didn't get to pave Pine Mill Drive this year. Even though
We never budgeted for that.
we didn't budget
No,
for
we
it.
didn't even budget correctly for what we did.
Okay,
really.
my apologies.
remember that we're on television.
Right?
Thank you. So I mean, the 24,500 is an internal estimate of what that job's gonna cost, or is that a fixed price, or what is it?
It's an internal
Okay,
estimate of what I think it'll cost.
cause I would be opposed to authorizing $25,000, so at least then, and that means Pine Mill Drive is ready to go next year.
Correct.
There's no additional construction work that needs to be done.
Not that I'm aware of. I think it's all good.
Culverts,
I think they're good.
some of those culverts are pretty shallow.
You know, it's funny how if you see some of the road dips, there's no culvert there. I'm not sure what that is. I think we're gonna have to dig it up and explore it, but there's no culvert ends on either side.
The one I'm talking about is right by my folks' house.
Yeah, yep,
And there's a dip there.
yeah, but there's no culvert on
There's
either
no
end.
culvert there. Interesting.
I know.
Are you sure?
Well, we dug
Not just
a
covered
little
up
bit
with
and we
dirt?
found rocks.
I'm gonna make a motion that we budget $25,000 for work on Pine Mill Drive this year.
I'll second for discussion because I'd like to know where the money's coming from
Comes
first.
from our contingency. We haven't spent any out of there yet. I just don't see, I just hate to see that another project get pushed off for another year
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have it ready. So Jim's saying that he can have that project ready to go for 25, now we can include it in our pavement, estimates.
You've already started
We
pulling
got
some
some
rocks.
started, yep, yep. So the other thing is. too,
Which-
is-
Hold on, let me finish that thought. Where you have started, it's pretty lumpy. Do you plan on making that flat before the snow flies?
Yes, Yep.
Okay. Otherwise, you're gonna be tearing up a lot more with plows.
it's just gravel right now.
Okay.
In there, and it needs to be cold patched.
Okay.
Yep, we gotta cold patch that in, but if we got that ready, cause my goal is, I wanna be on their list early. I wanna be on somebody's paving list early this year. I don't wanna be doing like last year. I wanna,
Good.
we've always done it in June. I would like to continue with being ready and paving in
I'm
June.
sure the townspeople would appreciate that as well.
Get the summer out of it.
Yep.
you know?
Margie, do you have something to add?
Well, I thought, what I heard is that, some of the contingency might be used by the Tufton Brown Neck paving. He said you might be over there or on the neighborhood road.
No, I don't think.
You better.
I didn't see the budget, so Cammy's saying, is what was remaining in your warrant articles, is that gonna cover it? Cause we don't have the paving bill through the system.
Well, I think the math should work out that you'll be okay. We should be right on budget with that.
What about the overage from your winter maintenance or spring maintenance line?
Well, that's gonna come out of the general budget. We're not gonna push money into the general budget to make up for his shortfalls. And we just, well, the budget currently is, we got $1.5 million left, so we're on track to have about $450,000 at the end of the year.
Town budget.
Town budget, right, so,
But his budget, he's already at,
yeah, I know, he's upside down 90 grand in his
Yeah.
spring maintenance.
Storm damage.
Yep.
Well, then get some grant money, buddy. Get involved. Don't
It's
stay
like-
in
Well,
the weather.
well, in regards to that, we do have grant money coming back
Yeah.
for the April storms as well as the last July storms. That's at the end of the
Yeah.
chief's minutes.
do you know how much?
That doesn't get applied.
It goes, yes.
No, I was gonna go to the
It goes
general
back to
fund,
the
I
general,
know.
But
Right.
it's looking at 16,755 for reimbursement for April for the roads and 8,420 for police and fire
So $25,000.
Yeah.
for this April and over 100 for last July.
For the highway,
Yeah,
so you got 118,000 total-ish.
a little bit more.
Okay.
That's good.
So saved by the feds.
So you're
Well, we
confident?
have some, I mean, the problem I have with our road agent is when he hears us talk about money, he seems to think he wants to just spend it, and he tells people in the office that, oh.
It's
they
growing
told-
on that tree right
Yeah,
there.
It's in that other account.
Yeah.
But I mean, we do have certain places we need to, for instance, was it a Gopher grant, I think, we need to clean that up by the end of December. The contingency was specifically for highway, I thought. Or that's the budget committee's position was it was for highway.
Mm-hmm.
That's what their excuse was for cutting the highway ask.
Yes, I agree. But if you're confident that we can fit this in,
I'm absolutely confident.
then I'll support it. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion to allow the expenditure of $24,500 for
Pine Mill Drive.
prep work on Pine Mill Drive? Aye. Okay,
All right,
The next thing I did was taking the pricing that we got for the guardrail on Sodom Road, which was 50 feet, and was $5,575, which turns out to be $111.50 per foot.
right.
I'm thinking we're gonna get a better deal for you, because 1,500 of that was for stage mobilization. So I'm thinking if you did more of one shot.
mhm.
We definitely wanna do more, cause I'm really not as interested in doing Sodom Road as I am on number of other roads in town.
So,
I'm sorry?
correct, I think the first place that needs it is Ledge Hill.
I mean, there's some dangerous ones on Ledge Hill.
Yep.
It's, and I think at 111, I mean, you could do 360 feet of guardrail, I think. So I would see if we couldn't get a price on 350 feet of it, rather than a price on 50 feet, and see if that impacts this number at all.
It would have to, it's, just for mobilization purposes only.
Right.
It would bring the number down.
And who's this with that we're doing this?
I actually gave you the sheet on the back side of this. Right here, this is what they actually did the proposal, but it's Fence and guardrail.
That's a good, oh, very, that's. Yeah, they're talking $1,500 just to get here. So the actual price is,
4,000.
$4,075.
excuse me, but it's $140, $390 a linear foot, is that it? No, that's each, so there's a 6.5 of that.
$4,075 divided by 50. $81.50 a foot.
Right, but you take the $1,500 out of it.
That's what
I
you
did.
He did.
Okay,
I did.
so how much is it a foot? I'm sorry.
$81.50 a foot.
So $81.50 a foot times 300 feet. It's $24,450 and you add $1,500, so you
Yeah.
get $25,000.
That sounds about
And when
right.
can they do it?
I didn't ask that question.
Okay, so we need to ask that question.
Well, this was just for budgetary purposes, I thought so.
Yeah. That's what I think too.
Yeah.
I don't think we're pulling this out of our
I
ass
figured
this year.
we needed to come up
Okay,
with that number.
just, and I guess we have to have this discussion, cause
Yeah.
we need to spend that money, that $40-something thousand by the end of December.
Is that where? What money? Just
It's a
A
go
for
for
the
grant.
gopher money.
So we don't need to actually cut the check, but we have to have a contract
I have to spend it.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
to satisfy. We
All
can't
right.
just put it in the general fund, which I thought we could do, which would be nice.
Can that go
Captain?
towards the 20,000 contribution that we would have to put towards the Sodom Road culvert that FEMA doesn't cover? It's a cost
No,
share.
we have a,
No, got me
Um,
double dipping.
Okay.
yeah, and actually that's changed to 100% now, I
Yeah.
think. So there is no
Or 90.
match.
Yeah, it's
And we already did the, warrant article for the Keenan Road drainage one.
10%.
And this is only 25,000, so we're still gonna have to get rid of some money somewhere. But that, so,
So we're not pulling it out of budget.
no,
Okay.
we're just using money that we currently have and it's
Okay.
not allocated. And I'm reluctant to do that with James because he'll wanna use all of it for
Well, I already
something
heard,
else.
I kind of already heard you spending 50,000, and you said there's only 40, right? Cause you
No,
just
I've
said
only
25 and
said
25,
25,000 and we're gonna get 300 feet done, that's what I wanna get done.
but didn't you just make a motion to spend 25,000 on the paving for Pine Mill?
That's different.
Oh, it's a different fund, okay.
Right, no, that's the contingency out of the general budget, which was reduced, the highway budget was flat funded, and the contingency went from $15,000 to $75,000 because of that. So these are two different avenues for, it's way above your pay grade, just.
All right, I won't listen anymore. I won't listen to you anymore.
Just gonna tell you what you can do, that's all.
Okay.
But that, so, we could get Pine Mill done, and we could maybe get a contract for some guardrails,
So the Pine Mill work is going to come out of contingency,
right?
24.5, and guardrail work you want to come out of the
Go for.
gopher funds that we have sitting there burning a hole in
Which
burning a hole in
bought
our
a
pocket.
Dump truck,
Okay.
you know, we have to do it on some kind of infrastructure, so it's gotta go to something
Understood.
like that.
Well, sounds like a good idea. If you can get that done this year, spend some of that $40,000.
All right, I will call and
Yeah,
get them to come out and give us an estimate on 360 feet, so what you said.
well, I think you can get 300 and still pay the $1,500 setup charge. But yeah, maybe the more you do, the less it costs.
You'd have to assume that works that way, but I don't know.
I don't think.
Yep. Okay,
Okay.
I'll call on that.
Nice, now we can get, and, you know, I don't know why the town of Ospey gets some wooden guardrails, but we never do, so I'm just throwing that out there.
I can inquire about it if there's something you have interest
I
in.
would certainly like to see it on some of our more scenic roads,
The wooden guardrails.
yeah.
We have wooden guardrails on the bridge that they did 20 years ago on County Road.
Yeah,
Those are wooden guardrails. That came out nice.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those, but,
Why?
because the plow hits it and damages them, we've already had to repair part of them once with the
Oh.
wing.
Well,
Oh,
get a
don't hit it with the plow.
driver.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yes. Bunch of new truck, terrible wooden guardrails. I just, when I go over Durgan Road over to, Chippewa Road, I'm thinking, you know, how is it that Ospey gets nice wooden guardrails and we don't?
We get the crappy metal ones.
Yeah, and ours are crappy.
But the wooden ones you can repair yourself, right?
True, we have repaired them, we've actually installed them.
Anyway, get us a price. Are
Okay.
you gonna come back and tell us about it, or how are you gonna do this?
As soon as I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll get the confirmation of what we can do, and then
Get with Audrey?
Audrey will probably send it to you email,
Okay. Sounds
because
good.
they're gonna send it to us email.
Yeah.
So she can just forward
And you think you'll have Carol out here before it snows to, or he's gonna have this estimate in a week?
it this week.
Okay,
I already saw him last week. He said he'd have his estimate this week.
okay, so we'll have it at our next meeting.
Yep. So, we have an idea already what Pine Mill is gonna be.
And what is that?
That was from last year's estimate.
It was, and I mean, I gotta assume it's gonna be somewhat close.
Well, that'd be a poor assumption in my book.
Well, I don't know, I think it's gonna be similar. 'cause
Yeah?
Well, the price,
Cost
it goes
of
by
asphalt?
price of fuel.
Yeah.
So Pine Mill was, but it was, yeah, but they put a top coat on it, so we could figure it without it, but with the top coat, they do a base coat, top coat, $278,000.
And that's total reconstruction, that's grinding it and then doing it?
Yes, yep,
$300,000. That was last year's price, right?
that was this summer.
And
This
what's
summer?
the top coat cost?
Top coat is $91,675, so yeah,
So that's fine.
so it puts us under the $200,000 mark for sure.
Yeah. So well within the range of our local road paving budget, without expanding it. And I'm not afraid of expanding it
No.
if we have a road that we need to start working on.
Yeah, because I think we got these in July, these numbers are from July,
Yeah.
so. I'm sure he's gonna, for budgetary numbers, probably gonna come back with this number. Everything.
Okay.
Any other, I know, we didn't do a warrant article on your shop last year.
No.
Okay, so that's gonna still be there. So we need to update that estimate.
Okay.
We put
In the CIP.
we put $50,000 in the capital
Capital
reserve fund for the
reserve.
highway facilities.
So let's, so you start working on that so that we've got, I mean, maybe it will be another 50, I don't know, but whatever the cost is for the, garage extension and
Yes,
the heat, to get the heat in there as well. So start working on your warrant article budgets, if that's gonna be one. You don't need any heavy equipment, I don't think, do you?
no, the only other one that we had last year that we didn't get past was paving the upper parking lot of the town garage.
Right.
That was one that we talked about, but
Right. So, let's look at the road paving that we need to do, like, does the transfer station need any pavement? Does this parking lot need any pavement? Does the library need any pavement? I don't think so. Does the fire station need anything? Captain?
Townhouse.
Townhouse?
I think at the very least, this needs to have some crack filling done out here.
Okay, so let's structure a budget together for those kind of places, so we can just make it all happen.
so last year, we were talking about getting a new crack sealing machine. Ours is past its prime. and it takes forever to get it hot enough to actually melt and do anything. I don't know if that's something that could be purchased this,
I don't either, I don't know how much they cost.
I'm looking around $1,500 for the small unit.
So that's not a warrant article, I
No,
don't
but I
think.
mean, can I do it this fall?
Um,
We're, you know, all these things are not helping the budget.
Go for it.
You do it this, is there a reason to do it this fall?
Well, you wanna
I'm
get it
getting
before the.
requests for crack sealing already.
Oh, I see, whatever, I don't know.
I know we're gonna be further upside down if we
Yeah,
do any
yeah,
crack sealing at all.
it's not like that we can grab it out of something else, so
Okay,
I
so
don't
maybe
know.
we just
I mean,
don't do the
what's
crack
your
seal
feeling on
this
it?
year?
Is the crack sealing,
We normally usually at least do the bridges.
Does it, you're talking about just the machine? If you had the machine, you,
We need to buy the machine and do some crack sealing, else, you know, we
Right.
don't have, I mean, if,
so
we
is
don't need
that,
to buy it if we're not gonna do any this year, and I guess that's the question, are we gonna?
if you're not gonna do it, no, you're not gonna buy it. But
Correct.
If you are gonna do it, then now we've discussed, do we wanna spend $1,500?
Or do we
Well-
wanna spend more than that, cause it's the crack sealing on top of
and
it,
that's for a small machine.
correct?
Do you want the small machine, or do you want something that
Yeah,
you
I
can
wanna
be
try that
productive?
small one, that thing
Or
looks
you
like
can-
it'd be a
or-
time saver,
Yeah.
cause
You
you
wanna-
actually pull it around and drag it.
You want a small machine rather than something a little bigger that you can be more productive with.
I think this one that I'm looking at would be more productive by far than what we have already. We have the big one that you gotta pour into, this
So
one
you
does a lot
have the
for you.
material to do the crack sealing with?
I do, I have a fair amount.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we authorize them to buy a $1,500 crack sealing machine.
A second for discussion. Where's that 1,500 coming from?
I think he's gonna overspend his budget no matter what we do, but we need to get some.
Yeah, but why
crack
not,
sealing
why
done.
add to it? Why, can this
Because-
money come out of the same funding that we're taking that other money we just talked about? Infrastructure? Gopher funds?
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Cause it's
I need
not,
a purchase order and an
yeah,
intentional,
it's a
we
equipment
actually
that,
will need multiple bids.
yeah. I mean, I guess coming out of contingency's okay. I mean, he's gonna be over on his budget, $1,500 is gonna make a hell of a lot of difference.
No, but
Yeah,
if
I
I
know.
crack seal, that will add to it.
But-
So,
But he's
We
gonna be
wanna do
doing
the
the work.
crack
He's not gonna do it for free. He's gonna bill us for it.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Why can't it come out of the Gopher
It can-
funds?
It can, Bob, it's just,
She just told me no.
no, out of the Gopher, no, it can't,
Why?
cause it's not
You just told me it was for infrastructure.
right,
That's more operating, it's not a bridge or,
yeah.
a big vehicle.
Be like a spray painter, just,
Like the guardrails, we should actually have multiple quotes, so whoever OSPI uses, if we're to get that quote
right,
for Gopher, we really should be having,
right, what do we,
So Mountainside Landscaping could
okay,
give us an estimate,
crack?
crack ceiling.
I could, but we got $10,000 in our operating budget to do crack sealing,
Okay.
so,
I'm just trying to stay away from using the budget. I'm trying to use this.
yeah, but it doesn't.
I'm trying to fit it into the Gopher mold.
Stop thinking about it coming out of your wallet. Start thinking about what the effect of spending a line is. Cause if you don't spend that crack sealing line, then why do you have it? And it's not a real reflection. If we drag the money out of Gopher or we drag the money out of the contingency, we're not really truly reflecting the cost of doing
No, but we know that he's going to be over budget this year.
right.
So I'd rather pull it out from. I'd rather not pull it out of the operating budget if we can fit it into the mold of this grant money that we have. Because we're gonna- because we're gonna-
Two of us here, we're in disagreement, cause I'm not about to use $1,500, and it's not that much money, I suppose I could do it, but. letting the budget committee and everybody involved in this off the hook. We've already let them off the hook on Pine Mill Drive, because we need to get that project started. And so this budget's an additional $1,500 or $10,000 over budget, it doesn't matter. The only thing it matters for is to illustrate to the budget committee that the highway department was improperly budgeted last year. That's all it's for.
I can do that in a conversation. I don't think we need to make a point productively. But I'd like to see it done, so I will go along with your motion,
Thank you.
because I don't want to see it fall by the wayside.
I don't either. I wanna get the crack ceiling done. So-
But I'd also rather avoid the budget and use it out of, use anything that we can out of these grant funds before they evaporate.
Why
Yeah,
don't we use
yes.
the current machine? We already own one, but we don't use it.
No, it doesn't
It
work.
doesn't work well. We talked about it at the end of the year when it wasn't working. We were, it was taking an hour to get it heated up. By the time you get it poured out, it wasn't staying hot. It's tired.
All right. You wanna call for a vote?
Motion's been made, seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Okay, so we are gonna crack seal.
You better, after this. I'm losing a friend over your non-activity.
I will get that.
The other thing to remember is that, for instance, Tyler Phillips on the wharf in Melbourne,
Do you need more?
we can spend the gopher money on that. That's, and we might have to. So we've got another 2 months where we might have to have some things.
Okay,
That's all.
all right.
I'm not gonna kick this dead horse anymore.
No, but let's just see if we can make that money, that grant money evaporate by the end of the year
Yeah,
before.
definitely.
I don't want to give it back.
No, I don't
Is it
either.
really grant money or reimbursement?
It was grant. It was a grant
Oh,
originally.
the FEMA?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I-
the
I
GO,
was-
we're talking two different
Okay,
funds.
sorry. Yeah, the Gophers grant.
Yeah,
FEMA's reimbursement, Gopher's grant.
yeah, cause we all spent so much money on income taxes, thank you very much, so we have a little bit back. You done?
I'm good.
Now you gotta get us pricing on guardrails, and you gotta start crack sealing, get that done before it snows.
Yep.
And get the work done on Pine Mill Drive before it snows,
Yes, correct.
so.
Yep. Now, you mentioned the multiple prices.
Yeah, I'll confirm
For the
with you
guardrail.
tomorrow, but we also need to put the guardrail, the paving of the upper lot and the expansion of the building into the CIP. So as soon as we have those numbers, we can,
Okay, well, I had some from last year, I just don't.
yeah, so why don't you
Good they
escalate
stand up
them
in this year.
Those were numbers that were handed to us on a napkin.
On a napkin.
Yeah, if you can have something a little bit more formal, I think all parties involved would appreciate it.
Happier.
Okay.
More formal.
Yeah, I'd like to have a discussion, the selectmen should have a discussion about things like driveways and parking lots. Separate from or in addition to the paving budget. So we can keep up.
Well, we
with
have a
this.
capital plan for the roads,
Right,
but we don't have a capital plan for driveways and parking lots.
right.
And perhaps we should.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know that we're talking a lot of money, but
No, but the things that need attention
Yeah.
that we're responsible for.
setting it up. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fire.
I don't think you can
I
create
think
fire.
we said every time.
This is.
I did that a couple weeks ago
This
too.
isn't
I get
about-
corrected again. Fire update. Did I lose my fire update? Bear with me. I gotta find it. Roger gave it to me. There it is.
No, it might be.
Your budget's looking good.
It's on par for the year.
What's that?
The budget for the most part's on par for the year.
Pretty close, yeah, you're actually under budget, but, your billing is over budget, so. I don't know what the,
That was a every few years membership renewal, 5 years, yeah.
okay, so double check that when you come in for your 25
Yep,
budget.
it's already been addressed.
Yeah, so we don't have any other lines that run over. So. 431. $48,000 a month, so you're, yeah, you're well under. You're only averaging $48,000 a month. So you got $236,000 left. I don't know if you've got any one-time purchases.
We do have some training and
Yeah.
equipment stuff still out. We have a couple of turnout gears, sets of turnout gear on order.
Okay.
We still have quite a bit of vehicle maintenance that is listed in here that's been invoiced but not paid yet,
No,
so,
not here. Okay,
correct.
all right. No other, I'll let you do your report. That's
No,
fine.
you guys got this, there's no other catastrophes going right now, fires per se, that we're working on putting out, so. Pretty status quo month.
Calls are up,
Calls are way up,
way up.
as well as inspections.
Any common denominator?
It's just been a busy summer. I mean, the
Mm.
life safety inspections follow the building permits, so Jack's inspections are up, ours are up.
Yep. But fire calls, so you're almost double
Yep.
what you were this time last year.
Some of the early season storms played into that, but it's also just been a consistent and steady summer.
And we haven't had a lot of rain this summer.
Correct. But we haven't had a lot of outside fire incidents, just been a busy activity summer.
A lot more people are going to propane rather than oil, huh?
Oil, for sure.
So you're, what was I gonna say? On the grants or the
Mhm. The federal reimbursement.
reimbursements. You're expecting those in before the end of the year?
Yeah, they're expecting the April storm to be obligated in mid-October.
Okay,
And then the July storm was a little bit bigger, so that one should be in, they're anticipating before the end of the year.
and we got a notification from the state that they wanna reclassify or put signage on the bridge on Sodom Road,
Okay,
regulating rescue vehicles. So we're gonna ask the fire department to weigh in on that.
Right here. Did you guys have a gander at that? You don't have to read it right now, but
Yep.
I don't know
maybe
what,
for the next meeting,
yeah, I
Okay.
don't know what,
how that affects you.
yeah, we'll take a look at
it's
it.
not very descriptive about what the limitations are, and I don't know what our trucks weigh anyway,
Yeah.
so.
We'll compare the tonnage that they're reporting and take a look at it.
I'd love it if that sort of nudged us onto the bridge list.
Perfect. Anything else from us?
Have you added people? Is that what you just said? You've got some turnout gear? you
No,
need to get?
we replaced it on a 10-year life cycle. So once gear gets old, we typically buy between 3 to 5 sets a year, just in cycle of expired gear. We do have a couple of new members that signed on a couple of months ago, and 2 of these sets will go towards them.
Any, excuse me, any major capital purchases next year?
The airboat is gonna be on the list and the cascade system to fill our air packs.
Okay,
And there's a little bit of money left over in that SCBA capital improvement reserve also for air packs.
okay, was that in,
Can't
I don't
remember that
remember
number
how
off
that
the
was
top of
written.
my head.
I remember we had the SCBA for a long time going through there, but I
Yep.
don't know how it was actually written.
Is that a revolving fund, do you know?
I don't remember the details.
Did we do that last year or the year before?
No, that's
No.
several years
A
old.
couple of years ago. Yeah, so so when are you coming back to see us? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
No,
4 weeks?
Month.
a month.
A month? So let's check between now and then to see what the status of that is. And how much money's involved there.
Yep.
And then you can give us an update on those two costs. The airboat, meaning you're getting a new airboat, is that what you're thinking?
It's on its 20-year cycle.
Okay,
We purchased it in cooperation with the firefighters association and the town initially, and we're
right.
looking to do that same partnership again.
And how much money do you think we're looking at?
We are budgeting 175,000.
So how much, like 50/50 or? is-
Probably like a 39-60
Okay, 30.
somewhere. We're not really
60.
sure. It depends on how much.
So we should plan on like $100,000, is that a good round
Yeah.
number, or more?
100, 125, somewhere in
Okay,
there. The firefighters association will probably be able to bring 50 to 70 forward.
okay.
It is, you don't have to defend this now, but the questions are gonna come out. Is this thing worn out?
It's tired.
It is tired.
It takes a beating on the ice. The ice is not forgiving. There's no suspension, no shocks. It's a hard bottom boat bouncing around on the rigid surface. So we're consistently re-welding seams,
And if it-
replacing the polymer on the bottom.
If it breaks, you can't walk home.
No.
Okay, okay.
So it's definitely tired. It's definitely due.
And just, so by November, when you come back to see us, look up and see what that boat cost and how much the town put in on that one.
We have those numbers.
Okay, yeah, just so we can
Yep.
have a apples to apples on it. Is there any other capital purchase you're looking at?
Those are the two this year.
And the Halo system, is that what you're calling it?
The SCBA, so the air packs we wear,
Right.
the cascade system that fills them
Cascade, I'm sorry.
in the station.
Okay, so
compressed air.
central filling station.
Correct.
And how much money are we looking there?
100.
100, okay. Hey, 100,000 here, 100,000 there. It's only money, right?
Yep,
Okay,
it's just money,
that's all right, that's all we worry about. is
just
money.
money.
He worries
Oh.
about how it works. Alright.
Finding people to make it work.
Yeah. And everything's, when are you guys going to Ohio to see her?
We just came back
Oh, you did?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
How was it?
Caleb and I were gone. Good. We made a lot of progress on it. It's ready to go, so
Good.
we're in the queue.
Nice.
To drive or fly?
We flew.
Yeah. Let's try.
No.
That's great. Alright.
Very
Take a
good,
look at that DOT stuff and we'll get back to you.
all right,
Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Nice.
So did we get stood up?
I think so.
I think we did.
Okay,
Yeah,
we have done the consent calendar, we've done action items, we've done correspondence, town administrator and selectmen's updates.
Yeah. Do you
Town
wanna do
administrator?
Do you wanna do the budgets while we're
Yeah,
here?
I'll do them with you. Please,
Sure,
since I wrote them.
sure, we can do that.
I made them up.
The update, absolutely. So budget season is here. It started. Audrey's given us some fairly simple ones to knock off.
I should have said, well, Chris was here, Captain Morgan was here, that, Tufton Borough was first in the state to complete that FEMA request, and
Well, good.
get
That's,
it in. He's
And if it's
he's
anything
done
like
an
telephone, it'll be
incredible
the
job.
last in the state to get the money.
yeah, well,
And-
that's a reflection on their efficiency.
He and I worked really hard together on getting the fire engine paperwork in.
Good. You were a little stressed out
So-
last week going over that.
Yeah,
I could tell.
it was a lot.
But you got
Okay.
it. Good job.
Is that included in our MS1 as income or no? When are we gonna look at that as income?
On the MS4
Is the MS4?
for income, that's the income one. MS1's
Okay.
value,
Oh, right.
valuation.
So
Yeah, we'll have a chance to revisit the MS4 after the MS1's put in and the state
Okay.
looks at it. So yeah, on the budgets, I started with assessing the assessor 43,000. That is a contractual amount, as is the 2025 reassessment.
The 40,000, 2025.
Yeah.
Now, is that a full, or are we doing this in stages?
They go out and do, I think it's close to 20% per year. They're actually out doing now. So if you're one of the homes who received a postcard from them, and that's mostly homes that have had improvements or building changes, there will be the assessor coming around, and he does have an ID and a letter from the town.
I think I got that postcard last year.
So you were one of the 20%.
Probably.
Yeah, but this is the full
He
reassessment.
visits me every year.
So this is a full.
Mm-hmm.
It's $40,000 for 100%
Yes.
full year assessment.
And that's in his contract, which I think I sent you recently.
Yep.
But it's not a full revow.
Yeah, and next year's a full revow,
Next year's the full revow.
2025, that's the budget, yeah.
That's what it says here. 2025.
And what's, okay, can you get a figure from him on a full revow for next year?
That's what it is, then flip your legal back over.
Second line down.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay.
I'll move $83,692 for line 4152 assessing for the 2025 budget.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
The only thing I know we're gonna get some pushback on the 40 grand, so we should make a note that in 2025, when we do this process back in September of next year, that we should start thinking about a warrant article for a capital reserve as opposed to having it hit every
Mhm.
5 years.
You know the budget committee's going to want to see the Contract.
Yeah.
okay.
All those in favor?
All those in favor? Aye.
Okay, next is legal, I kept it, level funded.
Bob had an issue or a question,
Yeah.
concern about planning.
I know it's hard to look into a crystal ball when you don't have one, but
Where are we?
we've got on the second line down legal.
Flip over assessing.
It's on the back side of the. You got it.
That's what we
Okay.
spent so far.
Where's legal? Legal expenses. There we go.
Yeah, we've spent 12 in the top level.
We haven't spent any this year on legal planning, and we're at 29%.
Well, we've spent $30,000 so far this year for
Yeah.
all our legal bills.
No,
No,
that's the
Oh,
balance.
that's the
We spent
balance.
12,000.
Sorry.
I would like to suggest for discussion, before I make a motion, to reduce legal planning from 10,000 to 5,000.
All right. And
Reason being is in 2023,
mhm,
we spent just a little over $1,000.
mhm.
This year we haven't spent any. And I know anything could happen next year.
I'll make a motion that, Board of Selectmen approval 4153 legal budget for $36,700.
I'll second.
And that effectively reduces the legal planning line.
Reduces it by $5,000.
All in favor?
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 36,700. Okay.
The dog officer, which is basically if the animal shelter, if the police bring in any stray dogs, and then the NHSPCA contract.
I'll move $1,750 for line 4414.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
For direct assistance, same thing, I level funded it, we have had more requests this year.
Okay, so we've spent $1,800, but we dodged a bullet on one of them. Yeah. I mean, we could have easily exceeded this budget by 100%.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we do direct assistance at $9,750.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
I did increase patriotic purposes, it's been flat for a while, and I apologize, I don't have the 5-year history. The
Did they
Legion,
ask for more money?
no.
And we haven't spent any money. Oh yeah, we did.
You did.
We spent it, we zeroed it.
Yep, we just send it to them automatically, but from my experience in other towns, I have paid more for flags, and
Right.
they're up timely. The Legion does a great job. We just brought them a handful of flags for destruction.
Mhm. So we've increased it by $250.
Yes,
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve $1,750 for budget line 4583 patriotic purposes.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
I kept gifts and donations flat.
Mhm.
The $99, I don't remember what that was for actually,
Oh,
but like when the chief retired, the town gave him his
right.
service revolver.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we haven't done anything with it lately, but doesn't the post cane go into this? Boston post cane?
Yes, and that's been on Cammie's desk for a while.
Okay.
Where are we with that? We
You're good?
offered it to multiple people.
Mhm.
We've had multiple refusals.
I think we had a recipient, and then one of the refusal people came back and wanted it, and I'll take it off Cammie's desk. But
We should
yes,
award that
right,
to a worthy recipient
we should.
who's willing to accept it.
And I think we should have a quality cane. What was purchased was,
Symbolic.
yeah, but it wasn't even a full cane. It was a screw together.
Well, yeah, I mean, the problem is that
Yeah, but,
we don't wanna give away the real cane.
oh, I know, I
So-
understand that, but you can get nice replicas and, so I will find out what one costs and see if this should be increased, but I don't think it needs to be. If this is where it goes, but I will make sure I move forward with the Boston Post cane.
Thank you.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve gifts and donations, $1,200.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Legion,
And then the next two are the fire station principal and interest, and, oh gosh, I think you have 2 more years, I think it ends in 27, so 2 years after this one. 2026 is a full one, and then 2027 is less money,
so just one more year of full payment.
correct?
Very
Okay,
good.
I'll make a motion on 4711 debt service for $153,710.29.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
4723 interest, it's not tax anticipation.
Yeah, I saw that. It's not tan.
And the interest has dropped from 15,309 to 11,483. So I'll make a motion for 4723 interest on the fire station at $11,483.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
So.
Okay.
Let's take a look at
So Ashley and I attended a budget workshop today, put on by New Hampshire Municipal Association. There's a couple things we really wanna look at. Sorry, I just noticed that pine tree out there looks like the top broken is hanging. When there appears to be a conflict of interest in anything, we really need to make sure that we have multiple bids for it. So things like the guardrails, we just want to make sure we have a policy and are covering it and that we're not reflecting any conflict of interest. And that's super important for any of the grant money, especially Gopher. The last couple of weeks I've been working on the COLA, the budget sheets, budget workshop. We ordered new dividers so that the books will be by account number with name.
Thank you.
Okay. The Carlton property, I worked with the surveyor, Steve, and Mike to get all that through planning. It was a little bit of a panic at the end of last week, but it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I was at that planning board meeting last week, and it passed very easily.
yeah,
It's pretty cut and dry.
well, Mr. Carlton at the last minute, the day before, asked for a map with topo lines to make sure that the boundary was in the correct place. So that caused me a little panic, and planning was almost ready to throw it out, and I was like, no. So we did get that resolved.
Good.
I have about 50% of the health agency's budgets, and so far we're not seeing any increases in those. And Ashley's gonna reach out to the remaining agencies and make sure we get their requests. Ashley also has been learning the budget spreadsheet so that she can keep them updated. And we're gonna work with MuniSmart to get them into the system that way, so you can see on future budgets where the current expenditures are, and we can have ongoing reports. The several personnel issues I've been working with we'll cover when we go into non-public. I attended the Education Coalition Community. It's formally called the Coalition Community right now. They're gonna change the name to Educational Coalition Community. and the next meeting is the Tuesday of the election. So I also wanna ask you, that's your November meeting, and you normally have it the day of the election, but the election's at the school. What happens at the school? Do you have a separate room there that you meet in, or?
Yeah, just a corner of the gymnasium. It's fine, that's where,
How was it with noise?
it was fine,
That's been my biggest issue up there is
yeah.
there's all the
Well,
noise.
that has terrible acoustics, but at least at the gymnasium it's taller. But we didn't, I mean, you can look up the meeting, it's just, we did it for 2 years or 3 years up there at the school,
Yeah, actually we did it last year and
yeah.
not last year, the year before, I think. Yeah, I think it worked out okay if I
Did
remember
it?
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't picture it. So,
Yeah, this table down in the southeast corner, we all three sit there, the minute taker sits at the end or on another desk and then
Yeah.
people come through. Yeah, it works fine. We have all day, so spread them out.
alright,
We'll make it work.
I couldn't picture it, but I just wanted to throw it out there, see what you did.
We're not gonna meet twice that week if that was your plan. When it happened.
It wasn't my plan, it's my preference, so,
Yeah.
but I'll go with your plan.
Thank you.
Okay. And Tyler's been working, from Headwaters, has been working with the Lake Winnipesaukee Association. So hopefully the grant money that they came in about last time, we can get a piece of that pie. The lady who was supposed to come in tonight was a different person, and that was just outreach and introduction and what do they do and make sure
So it's
that
a different,
Had nothing to do with those little
No,
projects they wanted?
No, it
Okay.
was a separate woman who had contacted me earlier than the last
Okay.
person. I have a CIP meeting on Wednesday at the fire station this week. The budget committee, Rob has a conflict for October 1st, so we're gonna see if it goes to October 8th or just until the 15th. Either one of them, the 15th would be better, because then I could finalize budgets and send them more budgets to review.
Right.
So their first meeting they would have. The next ones I have are executive, town clerk, tax collector, code enforcement officer, so a lot of the smaller groups.
well,
And,
I had some marked.
oh, which ones would you like?
Ambulance contract,
Oh, I figured he could bring that in with fire.
other government, other general government,
And that's joint loss committee and something else?
yes.
Yeah, they can probably do that.
Building inspection,
Yep,
emergency management.
I was gonna merge that with fire.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if the fire budget generally comes in a little later, so we can get some of these little ones
Oh, I
out.
think fire's about ready and they wanna do it before Chris goes on vacation for 3 weeks.
Yeah, bring it on.
Sounds good.
So
Bring it
that's gonna
on.
be October 21st, I'm looking at fire.
Are there other highways and streets?
Oh, that's the dock and bridges,
Right, conservation and other conservation.
okay,
I mean, those are all
yeah,
really easy.
yeah,
Jen can look at her 4140.
yep, she's already on it,
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's, and we voted on the COLA increase, so everybody should be able to do
Right.
their wages.
yeah. And I don't have any quotes for insurance yet, so those are when I get those quotes.
Okay.
Okay, Chip, you have another week to do the Tufton Borough Times article,
Yeah, I know. I gotta think of something to say.
and I have to look up the forms for you asked me to look up what forms are really required for the grant for the police.
Right.
So I have not
How
done
is-
that.
Okay. Yeah, cause I mentioned to Audrey, if we can get a spreadsheet of what these forms for, the Department of what are they, farm?
Yeah, agriculture.
Yeah, who have the grant for the police department. You get just a list of what requirements there are, so there's no, hiding the balls. We'll need to, I think, try to stay on top of that list as we go along if we do award some of these contracts. I know the understanding, our collective understanding is we don't wanna get into USDA money. But in the event that we have to, at least we will have had that process started.
Have the ducks in a row,
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah.
It's reasonable.
I mean, I don't think we can throw that job at Jack, but I think if we know what the list amounts to, we can probably handle it.
Do you wanna do your reports before we go into non-public?
Well, yeah, speaking of police station, 2 weeks ago at the Selectmen's meeting, I wrote an RFP for the police station. Have you both had a chance to review it?
No.
Did you?
I think I got an email with it.
You did.
Yeah.
You did, you got an email.
Did you send it out by it?
I sent it out via email, yeah.
Yeah.
Because actually we want to get this ball rolling.
Right.
In order to send out the RFP. It's a draft. I would like your input. See if anything needs to be changed, added. If there's enough information. Do we have the all the information from Phil ready to send out?
Yes.
So if somebody responds to the RFP and they
Yeah.
want all the information, it's ready to go.
Yes.
Okay. Please put on your list of things to do.
Yeah.
Go over that RFP and maybe we can vote on it next week.
Yeah, and I'm feeling.
Not next week, in 2
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah, I'm feeling
Excuse me.
more in control with one of the things I had too was the go for money, all the state reporting. So that was a
Mhm.
Okay.
exercise.
And I'd already mentioned that I attended the planning board meeting last week, and which the Carlton property was approved. That was the only thing that was really on the agenda.
I think I've hit everything that I did all week, or 2 weeks.
Okay. Is there any other business that we need to discuss before we go into non-public?
I think so.
All right, then I'll make a motion that we go into. Oh, hold on a second here.
I put it on the agenda. The RSA me.
I make a motion that we go into non-public under RSA 91A:3, 2A, compensation of public employee.
I'll second.
Murray, aye.
Albee, aye.
Yep.
I'll
Ready?
make a motion, we go out of not public and into public.
I'll second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any other business for us tonight?
Do you want to seal those minutes?
I'll make a motion to seal the non-public minutes.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
I think part of them are sealed by HIPAA, but that's okay.
Any further business? Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.